This client and I were working on her desire to improve her efficiency with getting chores done. But we discovered that that required a surprising shift in her priorities first. Witness how this experienced client coaches herself through her own levels of awareness to leave behind the how to and lean into the what for. And I encourage you to stick around to the end so that you can hear my analysis of this conversation. So, one thing I want to highlight in this conversation was the power of asking the same question more than once. I addressed this in another video earlier this week, but you would not believe how impactful it is for a coach to notice when a client hasn't really answered the question or has reached or just hasn't reached the real answer in them. I've done quite a few videos working with an AI chatbot to coach me, and it never asked me the same question twice, even if I avoided answering the question asked. A skilled coach will sense the client hasn't really acknowledged or voiced that inner knowing yet, and will ask it again. So, here, after asking what the metaphorical bike that she needed to ride to improve that skill level and experience around this area for her, at first, she said just doing the chores more, like practicing doing the dishes or mowing the lawn, was somehow going to make her more efficient and less resistant to doing them. So I asked it again. And lo and behold, she realized it was actually about practicing shifting her priorities. Doing the chores wasn't actually about getting stuff done so she could go back to living her life. It was actually about her prioritizing herself, her own desire to have a clean kitchen or a mowed yard, and creating the space that she needs for herself to give herself that. The other big turning point in this conversation was when the client shared that having more connection and relationship in her life is her true calling. And really, everything else is just a distraction. Is just a distraction. For me, that signaled that the deeper level of this conversation was really about her relationship with herself. When we acknowledged this conversation wasn't really about the chores, I asked how she wanted to show up in relationship with herself. And she said that she wanted to make herself her highest priority, which is currently not how it's going. Doing things doing things because she wants them and letting those chores get to be and allowing these chores to become an expression of self-care and self-regard and not just about checking things off her list. I'm really curious to hear what you got out of this conversation for yourself. Did you relate to her ADHD experience and get value for yourself in seeing this task list as really a reflection of your priorities? I really look forward to reading your comments.
Okay, so the question I have is what new structures would bridge the gaps for me to automate more routines in my life? That's my that's the first question. And yeah, the underlying question is like what is the stuckness actually about? And so I think the problem I have is there's a part of me that is kind of focused on those outside solutions. I'm like, well, someone somewhere has cracked this and will just give me a 12-step process. There are also like the parts that do get distracted by like, well, life shouldn't be this way. Like if Paul had done that thing sooner, or like if I hadn't spent time doing this or whatever. Um, okay, what I really want is like that quickness aspect. Like if you're cycling and you work at it for long enough, you get faster. Like you might cover 10 miles in a quicker time frame. It still feels hard if you're still working at it. And so I'm like, I want to move through those feelings of guilt and like resentment for past versions of myself and the feelings of like the woe is me. I want to move through those things quicker so that my focus again comes back to like how do we get there? Or like, what's the next thing? This matters to me because I just deserve it, damn it. And I want to regain that mental time, like that mental space and the energy I have been putting towards like, how do I make sure that the cat litter is done? And what would it take for me to actually write for 10 minutes in the morning and like take back that mental space so that I can focus on like new or unique projects? Like maybe it's like a creative thing or something.
What has you relate to it as stuck?
Well, okay, so part of it is like I got a diagnosis late in life of ADHD. And actually, I was using like stimulants, like pharmaceutical stimulants, as part of like bridging my gap. So it's like, hey, take this drug and it will help your brain work in a way that is known by they, whoever they is, like society, to help you get the things done. And I'm at a point in my life and journey where I'm like, yep, that's not it. Like that worked until it didn't. And now I need and want the next thing. Um, and so, again, like for today, I can put aside those voices that are just like, well, why doesn't my brain work like that? Or like, I can look and see that, my neighbor mows their lawn every day and it doesn't seem difficult for them. And, maybe it is in their own way. But again, it's like okay, I can acknowledge where I'm at, but I still would like to take a step in a different direction. Like, I don't want to stand still here.
Hmm.
Or like I can sometimes, but not all the time.
Okay. Okay, so it seems clear to me that we are in a conversation bigger than how do I get more stuff done?
Yeah, like I can identify all the reasons why like complete house tasks relate to the vision that I have for my life overall.
And what do you want more of in that life that you envision?
Yeah. Well, I feel like the biggest thing is connection and relationship. And so, like, have felt just like so grateful for the moments. Like last night, my husband and I like spontaneously hosted dinner for some other friends, and like the conversation that ensued. Like, I know that part of what I have to offer the world is providing a safe space, like literally, and like my like metaphysical juju that I bring into the world. And so the chores are just a distraction, or the undone chores are distraction because I want to be more present. I know that I have the capacity to be more present. And I notice when I'm like, oh, I can move through the discomfort of like, man, the kitchen's not as clean as I would like it to be when I host guests. And I'm like, I can move past that, still host the guests. And also, it's still taking up space in my brain. So that's where kind of for me the both and comes in of like, okay, I can I don't feel shy to do the mental work of like it's obviously not necessarily always about the chores, but sometimes I'm like, okay, it's not about the chores, but I'm still standing on this side of the bridge, quote unquote, where the chores are undone and I see opportunity for myself to get the chores done.
So, if this is not about the chores, what's the relationship that you want?
I want I want to relate to myself as though I'm my own priority. Like as though I'm my first priority. Like I have trust in myself, I have trust in my friends that they're going to come into my house and not see the kitchen, but I also feel again like I deserve it. Like I want to gift myself the experience of life where I walk into the kitchen and it's clean. Like it's not cluttered, like because to the point of I'm not arriving anywhere because it's a cycle, especially with chores. Like the dishes get clean, then they get dirty again. Like the lawn gets mowed, the grass grows back. The garden is weed free, and then it's not. And so, it genuinely is never going to be this one moment in time. Like, sure, we do get those snapshots where it's like, great, the cleaning guy was just here and no one has cooked again. And like, great. But right, I'm not going to not live in my kitchen. I'm not going to stop living my life.
Yeah. So if we were to take the analogy that you created earlier about getting on a bike and
Right.
the bike ride doesn't get different, you get, faster to keep practicing and to keep improving your own experience of that thing. What is that bike?
Maybe like the doing.
Just keep doing the doing, and how your brain responds to it is the thing that shifts over time.
Hopefully, yeah.
Like,
Well, to be done with it.
going back to that question, what is the bike that you're training on in order
Yeah.
to
Oh, yeah, yeah.
experience more of that life?
Well, I would say it's like the shift in the priority.
Yeah.
It's again that moment where I'm like, hey, let me do my chore first because that's what I want, because
Mhm.
I want that. Even if it means like saying no to a social outing or saying like not yet to a friend who is calling. Um, yeah, like just practicing more of that shift of like, I get to be my first priority, and that's fine.
With that, we've come to the end of today's episode on the Contentment Creator channel, where we pulled back the curtain in some live life coaching sessions for you to witness my clients gain deeper awareness and hopefully take some new insights away with you too. Whether you caught the whole episode or one of our segments, either way, thank you for making it all the way to the end. And I hope that you are subscribed so you don't miss another episode. Join me in my mission to help a world full of content creators become a world of contentment creators. Bye, y'all.